Transnasal esophagoscopy. The transnasal esophagoscope is passed into the throat and the vocal cords are visualized briefly. The scope is passed just behind the vocal cords down into the esophagus and swallowed. Once swallowed all the way, visualization is achieved of the stomach. This patient happens to have some polyps in the stomach, and so a biopsy forceps is passed through the transnasal esophagoscope and a biopsy is achieved with minimal discomfort. This turned out to be a benign polyp. The transnasal esophagoscope is then withdrawn into the esophagus, and here you visualize the junction of the lining of the stomach and the lining of the esophagus, with a pink mucosa of the esophagus contrasted with the salmon-colored mucosa of the stomach. The transnasal esophagoscope is then withdrawn, and this patient is noted to have white patches in the esophagus. This was biopsied and found to be consistent with a yeast infection. This was producing the patient's symptoms of painful swallowing. This was all able to be achieved without sedation in the office. The scope is then withdrawn. The patient